I'm delighted to have our guest here today from 24. I'd just like you to introduce yourself and your role in the band.
Of course, mate. My name's Daniel, obviously, and I'm the lead singer, well, frontman, whatever you like to call it, of 24. We're a four-piece indie rock band based in Glasgow, pretty much. So, we were formed in 2017, I think it was, start of 2017. So it's been going for a wee while, aye.
Aye, so for an audience that don't know, you've been living in Cyprus since November. How has that came about and how has it been living abroad?
Mate, it was just, obviously, when the first lockdown hit in March last year, it was like, it was quite, obviously it was hard for everybody, do you know what I mean? And then countries like Cyprus and Tenerife and stuff like that, but they were kind of still having stuff open, whereas we had like pub shuts and obviously gigs stopped and stuff like that. So, and then when the kind of second lockdown, it kept kind of going, I was like, right, okay, I'm kind of getting bored of this now, do you know what I mean? Because obviously you could rehearse and then you couldn't rehearse and then it was like on and off kind of thing. So one of my mates, he works over here, so he gave me a wee job offer just to kind of come over and do a bit of singing and stuff like that and a bit of entertaining and stuff. So I was like, well, there's nothing really to do back home, so I might as well just go and see what happens kind of thing. So I've been here obviously since kind of October, November time. So it's been good, mate, but it's the weather's nice, you know what I mean? So
Aye, and on that as well, it's like it must be strange as well being abroad and everything that's going on as well, because you were telling me before the interview started that the restrictions are probably tighter there than what it is in Scotland.
Aye, very, mate. But I think they're just, it's because it's not a very big place, Cyprus. There's not a lot of population, so they're just trying to control it now and restrict it. So it's obviously the stricter they are, the quicker we can get back to kind of doing like entertaining and going to pubs and stuff and getting back to normality, really. Do you know what I mean? Whereas back in the UK, it's not looking really much likely, to be honest, anytime soon. So, aye, so it's probably good that they're being stricter.
Aye, and have you had a lot of people kind of connect with during this time in Cyprus? Have there been people you can kind of speak to once you're feeling maybe a bit isolated with everything going on?
Of course, like people I work with, obviously we're kind of working based in a hotel kind of thing, just doing like singing and stuff like that at night and stuff. And then we all get an apartment together. So, and then obviously my mate that works here, he's still here as well. So it's we can still kind of go to each other's houses and have a drink out in the sun and stuff like that as well. So we're not completely confined to our own kind of home. Do you know what I mean? So it's quite good that way.
Aye. So you were saying obviously that your band 24 has been a group since 2017 and there's been a reshuffling of the band recently. How has it been for you guys during the difficult period we're in, and has it still motivated you to keep making future plans?
Well, that's the thing. Obviously, members change in bands. That's something that happens. Do you know what I mean? And it wasn't kind of like any bad thoughts and anything. It was just they wanted to go a different direction with music and stuff like that. And you've got to respect that at the end of the day, because they were the guitarist and bassist. They were doing it for 3 years with myself. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to just kind of respect that. But obviously, we got a new drummer in a couple of years ago, Jamie. Obviously, really good mates with him. And we actually he was with a band before that supported us. I think it was Audio. In fact, no, they were support at our very first gig in Classic Grand, like the very, very first one. And I got talking to Jamie and stuff. And then I think 2 years later, we needed a drummer. And he was one of the first persons I messaged. And he came straight on board because his band weren't really doing much. And Craig, the bassist we brought in, I played my last band when I met you. I think that was nearly 5 years ago now. Like we've aged a wee bit since then. So, but he played with my band before. So as soon as we needed a bassist, I brought him in. He was cool with that. And then Lewis as well. He's just recently came in. So it's been quite good that we found people that have kind of get the same motivation and have been in bands before, so they kind of know what they're doing and they know what to expect and they know what went wrong with their bands and how that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So it was good getting a different kind of outlet in a band and how they wanted to sound and getting different ideas for obviously songs we'd already done that they'd listened to. They maybe had ideas for them and stuff like that as well. So it gives us a good chance to refresh the kind of music we had and go on kind of different styles and stuff like that as well. So it was a good opportunity.
You'll know yourself, mate, that you're at a probably stage now with musicians that have been involved for a wee while now. So you know quite early if they're in it for the long run.
That's it, mate. That's the thing as well. Like, because like you obviously know yourself. Obviously, being in a band as well, that get the people to come in and you find them and maybe they're only at it for a month or two and then it's no coming to rehearsals, no being really committed and stuff. So it kind of filters out that process of having to try this person, because I know them personally. The people that I bring in, I know that they were committed and I knew what they kind of wanted out of it and stuff like that as well. So it kind of saved a bit of time in the process of trying to find other people. And it's obviously it's different kind of bringing in people that you might find that are posting like looking for bands and stuff, but you don't really know them. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's a big thing for a band to kind of be really close and good pals as well. So it's to bring somebody in that's kind of doesn't kind of know us, like it would be a bit more difficult to kind of gel with each other. But as soon as we get back in the rehearsals and stuff, it was like we'd been playing together for 3-4 years. You know what I mean? So it was really good that way.
Brilliant, man. So I've met you a few times now, mate, and I've always felt you came across as a genuine guy, and I've always felt that there's been something quite special about the music you've created. Can you tell quite quickly with a song when it's going to stand out, or is it when it's at its last stages?
I mean, you know yourself as well. Like it's different people have different opinions of that. I personally think that when you're in rehearsals and you're obviously jamming, getting songs together and stuff, it's like you know if a song's going somewhere. Do you know what I mean? It's you kind of listen and people bring in ideas and stuff like that, and you kind of know in a sense. But I think when you really know is when you're in the recording process. Like, I'm quite weird that way. I love recording. I sometimes like recording better than I like doing live gigs, to be honest. Just the atmosphere and the process and the ideas flowing kind of thing. That's what I love. And I think in the recording studio, when you kind of hear it back and stuff and you're adding this bits in, you get fluent, like different ideas coming in. That's when you kind of know if the song's going to be like really good or how it's going to go kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So I think obviously you can expect a song to do well and it doesn't really do that well. You can expect a song not to do well and it does well. But I think in the recording process, you maybe get a better idea of that. And if you go away for the recording process thinking, oh, we've just made a really good tune there, do you know what I mean? And that's what you're wanting. So it's obviously that's the kind of way I see it, but obviously a lot of people see it differently. So.
Mm-hmm. So as you were mentioning as well, your music is predominantly centred as an indie rock band, but I do feel there's a lot of unique representation in your sound and image. Who do you feel has helped influence you as a group?
I mean, it's a kind of weird variety, to be honest. Obviously, the musicians that were in the band before had different influences to myself. But the kind of people that have come in now, like Jamie and Lewis and Craig, that we've kind of all got the same influences, which I think is probably better. So it's just kind of bands like, obviously, like Stereophonics, Oasis, kind of like The View, The Enemy, and stuff like that as well. So we like kind of good, hard, in your face kind of rock music. Do you know what I mean? And obviously we're at a time now where like it's obviously like bar like your Liam Gallagher's and stuff. It's kind of not the biggest thing at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you're kind of hip hop and top 40 stuff, which is it's good, but it's you miss the rock and roll. Do you know what I mean? And that's why we kind of like to stick to that style. And I think the kind of gigs and songs that people can relate to and also jump along to at the same time. Do you know what I mean? That's important for us, because that's how we like to present live, and we like to keep the show going away at a big tempo and stuff like that as well. So that's the kind of why we've stuck to that kind of influences, because all the bands I mentioned are phenomenal live. Do you know what I mean? So that's why we all kind of came to agreement that's the kind of route we want to go down.
Aye. So how has it been for you creatively living in Cyprus? Has it gave you more inspiration to create something new?
I think not just like living here, it's the lockdown. I think that you know yourself, like between doing shows and rehearsals for shows and obviously recording songs and stuff, you don't sometimes get the time just to sit and write music. Do you know what I mean? So it gives you, not obviously just living here, but in lockdown in general, that I think any musician is probably take this opportunity to write new music. And obviously you'll go back with ideas that'll be rubbish and you'll go back with ideas that'll be brilliant. Do you know what I mean? But that's what I feel like every musician is doing. And obviously I think when lockdown's finished, the recording studios are going to be fully booked for the next 6 months or something. But it's the influences and stuff. Obviously it's difficult because obviously back home in Glasgow and that, you're restricted to kind of your house and stuff like that. But where this here, we can still get out and do stuff and that as well. So that's helped. And it's a different life over here as well. Do you know what I mean? So it does help your kind of ideas, and it does give you a more different outlook to different things and stuff. So it's a good opportunity.
Aye, no, definitely, mate. And it will probably give you a really unique way of looking at the way things are as well as a musician being abroad, you know.
That's it as well. And obviously you've people here that they just like different acts that obviously Cyprus isn't really a massive music scene, but it's that you see the people that in kind of pubs that you go to and stuff like that, and they just love doing what they're doing, and they're living the life that they want to live as well. So it just gives you a different aspect and different outlook on things. You know what I mean?
Aye. So, are there any plans this year with music that you would hope to achieve? I know it's kind of hard to tell with the restrictions and stuff like that.
Yeah. Again, this year, nobody knows what's going to happen, really. Do you know what I mean? I think, obviously, any gigs that are planned this year and stuff like that, the chances of going ahead are really, really slim, to be honest. But apart from this year, I think it's maybe just writing music and seeing what ideas we can come up with and stuff like that. And hopefully, when things are back to being better, maybe the end of the year, next year, then that's when we can get cracked into it and get going. Do you know what I mean?
Aye. No, that's brilliant, mate. So it's been great having you on, Daniel. How can we find 24 online?
Well, we're on Spotify, Apple Music, all your kind of big socials. 24 Band on Instagram, and 24 Music as well on Facebook and Twitter as well. But as you said, on Spotify, Apple Music, our latest single 4am's on there. We went up to James McKenzie in Greenock. Brilliant guy. He's kind of the guy that records our stuff now, so he's a madman, but he's brilliant. So he's really good as well. But that's what I'm saying. It's the kind of stuff we recorded early. It was a different producer and stuff. But I think when we went to James for the latest tracks, it was more our sound. He understood us a wee bit more as well. So it's good to kind of get somebody in that wavelength, the same as you, and knows your sound. And anytime we go back in, he's chipping in with ideas and stuff as well. So yeah, so Spotify, Apple Music, everything pretty much.
That's brilliant, Daniel. It's been great having you on, mate.
It's nice seeing you, mate. Good, mate. Thanks very much.